When Kevin Samuels plays a slapping sound during his show, it's not a joke, especially when he uses it while talking to women, and especially because he advocates slapping a woman in real life. I came across a reaction video about Kevin Samuels, where he's explaining how there are times when slapping a woman is necessary. Later, you'll hear the commentary of the two men who made the reaction video on how dangerous it is for Kevin Samuels to put out this type of message to the men who follow him. Kevin Samuels was on the Lapeef podcast teaching men to use physical violence against women by slapping them as a way of holding them accountable, and he states that if men don't use violence against women, then there's no community. It is a fact that black women are being taken out by black men every 5.5 hours. And now that many black men view Kevin Samuels as their God, and that he can say or do no wrong, they will act in accordance with his guidance. And what's more disturbing is that the other black men on the panel are accepting of what Kevin Samuels is saying with no pushback, and they're laughing and nodding in agreement.
The women today don't fear what Sean Connery told Barbara Walters. There are times when the best course of action is to slap a woman. If we can't hold anybody accountable that we are directly tied to, we can't have a community. You used to get a whooping by Mr. Brown if Mr. Brown saw you doing something wrong, because you were accountable to the community, not just your mama and daddy. I'm gonna leave that sitting right there. The women today don't fear what Sean Connery told Barbara Walters. There are times when the best course of action is to slap a woman. That's what Sean Connery said. It's still on YouTube right now. Go look at it.
By using the analogy that a child in the neighborhood would be disciplined by the neighbors, Kevin Samuels is saying that women should be treated like children. Otherwise, why would he even say this in this context? And he keeps using Sean Connery as a scapegoat. It seems in his mind that if Sean Connery said it, it must be okay. And listening to him justify slapping a woman because she won't let an argument go, and that men should escalate a verbal argument with physical violence, puts black women in an even more dangerous situation given the current climate of this so-called gender war between black men and black women.
And Barbara Walters was like, thought he was going to recant his statement, and he doubled down. And he said, let me explain what I mean. He's like, women have a way of not knowing how to let things go. You can give up the argument. You can let it go. They can know they've won. There's nothing else to be gained, and they will continue to push and push and push. And he said, at that point, once you've exhausted all other options, then a slap becomes a good option.
A slap becomes a good option to your wife. We've now advocated for DV, by the way. A slap becomes a good option at the point where the woman is talking too much. So you couldn't remove yourself. You couldn't say, let me step outside. You couldn't say, listen, let me leave it today. You couldn't do any of those things. You had to go for a slap. That's what I'm saying. It very quickly will turn into DV. Because at what point, I told you to stop. You're still going on? Slap. I told you I don't want to argue about this today. Slap.
You know that.
Blood.
Look here, smart ass. I'm the fucking image consultant, and I'm about to make a real bad day for you if you don't check that smart ass mouth talking to a grown damn man. This is the last warning, young lady, and it's going to get real bad from here.
how's it gonna get bad?
How's it gonna get bad? And you wonder why you end up getting talked to crazy, because that is what goes on. I'm a push. And you wonder why so many women end up getting abused and hand upside. That's what they got to deal with.
What he's saying is actually very, very dangerous, because at least statistics in America show that 1 in 3 women, they face domestic violence, they face a lot of cases of sexual assault and all those types of things within their partnerships. Just in their partnerships alone. We're not even talking about in general. We're not talking about in terms of family. We're not talking about in terms of friendships or any other type of relationship. Just partnerships alone. And it's 1 in 4 in general, like globally. That's already a high level. What he's proposing is to actually increase that with this low-level threat of violence. In which case, if a woman does anything that a man does not like or does not favor, he can then propose that threat of violence or this domestic discipline in a relationship. What do you think that is going to do for the current state of relationships in general when things are already polarizing? Right? Like, people already feel at odds with one another. At least in the Black community, it feels like now more than ever, that men and women have been opposing one another. If you're not proposing this level of threat of violence between men and women, you're actually putting women in danger, in more danger actually, because they already feel like they can't trust men in general. Now you're saying, okay, there should be a low level threat of violence. Why would they want to engage with any men? You're actually making it worse for the men. You're making it worse for the men, because now the women don't even want to come near if men are acting like that. And now the women don't get anything either, and they also feel like they're at danger all the time.
Yeah.
How does this help anyone? How does this act? Like, what is the end goal with what he's trying to propose?
If you want to see more of this type of content, please hit the like button and comment below. Thanks.